take the opportunity to welcome all of you for today's session. And I'll request Collins just to say a word of prayer as we start the session.
Okay, greetings everyone.
Greetings, Collins.
Yes, thank you very much for hosting us. Let us bow our heads down for the word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before thy presence. Even we want to thank you for the gift of life, dear Father. We want to thank you for taking us through the day. We want to thank you for gathering us in class. As we start, we want to pray for our leader that you may be able to give the wisdom to take us through the class. Pray that for the rest of us, we'll be able to understand it, whatever is being taught to us and touch. I pray this prayer just in Jesus' name.
Amen. 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 So I trust you have all been well. And we had a challenge with about two of our members, two of our class participants. One is Penina. She has been unwell. Penina is all the way from Turkana. So she has missed a number of sessions because of that. But I've been in contact with them. And let's continue praying for them. Secondly is Pastor Fidel from Rwanda. He had communicated about the incident about their mother, and he's still undergoing some treatment. She's still undergoing some treatment, sorry. So it's quite involving for him, and I just advised him to strike a balance because that is also a very critical and a priority. So let's remember some of those participants because they were willing, and hopefully some of them will have to join the next cohort so that they can be able to complete the sessions. Otherwise, today we are on lesson 14. And this is great. This is a big milestone because we are remaining, after this, we'll remain with 2. I'm hoping maybe if we can cover 14 and 15 today, then next week we'll cover lesson 16 and give you more time to present your project. And then the other week we'll have the hopefully the final or the semi-final presentations. So by the end of this month, we'll be through. And that tells you maybe in the next 3-4 weeks or around 3 weeks, we should be done. But we'll see how it goes because, again, we don't just want to rush. We want to ensure we maximizing the opportunity. And at the same time, there is value for our time. And so we'll just moderate and see how it goes. Otherwise, Leo, we are looking at lesson 14, the power of mentorship and succession in leadership. This is, I think I've been saying that every lesson is critical, but today's lesson is really important. There's a critical need when it comes to issues of mentorship. There is a critical need and a challenge when it comes to issues of succession. And this is a topic that we feel it's not just for us, but once we go through it, then we can be able to cascade it either upward or downward based on the environment and based on the on the opportunities that arise wherever you are. So let's go through and let's keep on engaging. Feel free to use the chat as usual as we progress together. Now, I want to start with a very simple, a simple challenge or a simple question. What are the 10 challenges leaders face and how to deal with those challenges? Maybe for today or for now, we'll not address the issue of how to deal with the challenges, but what are the challenges you as a leader you feel or you feel leaders are experiencing out there? What are some of the, if you are to rate 10 challenges, maybe the first one, just number one challenge you feel leaders are facing in their role of leadership. Just feel free to share maybe one or two. We go through and I'll present a few and then I'll give you some resources where you can be able to look at and see how do we address some of these challenges, because they are there. They're quite a lot of challenges. So let's share on the chat. I'll be looking through. Resistance to change, true, very, it's a common challenge. It's a huge issue, especially when it comes to change management or when it comes to re-engineering of processes. Misunderstanding, leaders are misunderstood. Yeah, that is there. Another challenge. Challenges that we experience as leaders or the people that you lead. What are some of the challenges they experience? So we have resistance to change, misunderstanding, how to stay motivated, maintaining focus, pressure, and cultural issues. Yeah. How do we stay motivated as leaders? You know, there's an assumption that leaders are always fine. So people will always be coming to a leader, but who goes to motivate and encourage the leader? That is one of the reasons we felt these sessions will be important and this program is important, so that we can be motivators of leaders, and we can this can be a home of leaders where we come and open up together and encourage each other and give each other a shoulder just to lean on. So maintaining focus, very critical. Pressure and issues to do with culture. Everybody has their own views. Trying to push a vision through is a challenge. Yeah, we all have our own priorities. We all have our own immediate concerns. This is what distinguishes a leader, because you have to apply the common word or the common phrase, ambidextrous leadership. So you have to make sure you are able to balance your needs or the vision, and at the same time, you are able to see how do we address those other issues that your team members are going through. So that balancing act. Okay, so I think this is quite good and enriching. So I just sampled a few issues to do with change, dealing with change. How do we deal with change? Like this period of COVID, how do we deal with change? Sometimes let me use that word, difficult people. Sometimes we deal with, I just want to put it plainly. I know we can use diplomacy, but I just want to put it plainly. You can encounter people, and some of them is based on the different environments that we have grown in, we have been through, and the perspectives might be different. So in a way, we might term them as difficult, but probably it's just their perspective. Pressure, you've mentioned about pressure. Leaders are always receiving that pressure first. I remember there's somewhere I was leading a team of men, And in every project we were undertaking, I will be given some very high target by the executive. But sometimes I know the people that I'm leading, and I understand their capability. I understand their challenges. So that balancing on how do I keep a balance between the executive, their demands and their needs, and also how do I address the issues? How do I how do I shield or protect the people that I'm leading down there? Because I know sometimes some of those projects were quite demanding in terms of resources, and the people were going through some of the challenges. So that balance on the two groups, letting someone go, yeah, sometimes we have to say bye and we have to say karibu. This is common, and it's something that is out there. We have to live with it and we have to manage it. John Maxwell was saying the biggest challenge he had, or one of the mistakes he did, was to accept that not everyone can join the bus, and to accept that at some point, some people will have to alight. So he later on realized that not everyone can join, not everyone will join, and not everyone should join. And that way, you become you shield yourself, you protect yourself, so that you're not personal with people. You are able to have a bigger understanding on some of these realities. Delivering bad news, yeah, I think leaders are positioned in a, if bad news, if something happens, you are the conveyor. You are the conveyor, especially for the pastors. You have to keep on conveying bad news and managing very difficult and sorrowful scenarios, but it's a reality of life. Staying motivated, you've mentioned that. Cultural issues, you've mentioned that. Being respected and being liked. I don't know how about liked, but being respected and even liked. People can't follow you if there is no that identity, that connection. Yeah, maintaining focus. This is big issue. How do you maintain focus? Communication challenges, and also handling failure. How do we handle failure as leaders? So these are some of the challenges. I will share the link so that you can look at how do you deal with these challenges. So I'll post this link. Just go online and look at the solutions that are provided there. So if there is no struggle, there is no progress. When a seed is breaking from the ground, it has to push its way. It has to push its way. It has to make a path. It has to make a way. There is that resilience. There is that pressure, but it has to get through the pressure. So these challenges, they help us to become better. COVID has been a challenge, but in a way, I'm sure that there are a lot of lessons that we have learned, a lot of shiftings, a lot of rethinking, a lot of innovations. So much has happened, but it is because we rarely grow in good times. We rarely grow in good times. Pressure helps us in a way to be able to accept to move forward. Simon Sinek, we have referred to him quite a lot. Customers will never love a company until the employees love it first. Leaders will never love an organization until the leaders that are there, they love the organization first. So me as a leader, unless the leaders I'm leading, they get in love with the organization I'm leading, because they are the linkage between the 20%, which is leadership, and the 80%, which is the congregation, or which is the bigger team out there. So unless these 20% are in love with what they are doing and with the leadership and with their functions, then the 80% may never be in love with the organization. We have been emphasizing that as leaders, we need to spend time and invest in the 20%. The 20% are the people I'm leading with. So those are the people that should love what I'm doing first. before they can be able to convey out there. So if you're in business, this is a good quote to note. Customers will never love a company until the employees love it first. I think this is, Collins, some of you who are in the banking sector, this is a good, it's a good concept. It's a good, maybe a reminder just to trigger us more, so that the employees are happy and appreciate to be there, so that they can be the ambassadors to the bigger team. So that was a simple icebreaker, quite long, but I think it's important. Now, when we get to mentorship and succession, I will start by just displaying and mentioning something about this relay race. And we have been saying leadership is not a sprint, it is a marathon relay. And the most important part is not just running, it's passing the baton. That is Miles Monroe. This is big issue. This is a message that we have to keep on repeating until ourselves we appreciate it, and the people that we are leading together appreciate it. Because if we don't appreciate this, then we might throw the baton along the way, and we may lose ground on some of the achievements that we have accumulated. So it's not a sprint, it's a relay marathon. And I remember when Moses was his tenure was coming to an end, he had to pass the baton. Jesus had to pass the baton, and many other leaders out there, they have had to pass the baton. Nelson Mandela, just 5 years in service, and he passed the baton. And it's good to know when to leave. It's good to know when to pass. Sometimes when you stay too long, we start eating our success. We start eating into our success. So it's good to know when is the right time to shift, when is the right time to make a switch. So it's a relay. It's a relay. And in Africa, sometimes there is that belief that people have to start from where we started. That is a problem. People don't have to start from where I started. If we are running a relay race, they have to take over from where I reached. Moses, he handed over from where they had reached. He didn't tell Joshua, I suffered. You go back, also cross the Red Sea, also go back and face Pharaoh. No, he had already done that. So it was about take over from where I am and proceed. And if Moses could wake up and find that Joshua settled the people, he would be very happy because the mission was accomplished. So leaders who are good mentors, they mentor others to do greater things and achieve more than themselves. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So the tree that you planted, the investment that we are making, it will be a shelter for someone tomorrow. I think we need just to keep on thinking about this, digesting more about this, talking more about this, so that we create a shift where need be, and we create an environment where we appreciate and celebrate the people that we are bringing up, and all of us at the end of the race, we are all winners. The African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. When I started writing, and I had written about 10 books, I felt it's time to mentor. And we started bringing out others in a forum, just talking to them, encouraging them. And I've been telling others, if you learn to collaborate, if you learn to work together, the fruits will be better, the impact will be more, and we'll be able to go further than I can be able to go alone. So mentorship is very important and very critical. I hope from that you're able to pick a few things. We rise by lifting others. Yeah, the lead. We keep on lifting the lead so that all of us can be able to rise. When we raise others, you are also creating a platform for you to arise. Mentorship is very core when it comes to leadership, and great achievers are inspired by great leaders. Great leaders are mentors. They become great because they have mentored. This is what we call dynamic legacy, the legacy that is invested in people. It's about people. So if we lift up people, then we become great in a way that is not just self-centered, but in a way that brings the fruit, a bigger cake for everyone. Nelson Mandela, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will also determine the significance of the life that we lived, how well we have been able to mentor. The highest level of unselfish thinking comes when you engage in mentorship. It's only the secure who mentor. It's only those who are selfless who mentor. Giving yourselves to another people or another person for their personal development or well-being. There are some relationship paradigms when it comes to issues of mentorship, which we need to adopt. There is a paradigm. The first relationship paradigm is where we think win-lose. I win, you lose. Yeah, that's a paradigm. That's a paradigm. So I win only once because I'm the winner, you are the loser. So there's no more discussion. There's no more engagement. You win, I lose. You win only once. We both lose, it's over. The partnership is gone. We both win. We win many times. Long-term partnership are built by win-win relationship. It's about a win-win relationship. A tree gives us fruits, we give it water, it's a win-win. If I don't give it water, then it's gone, the fruit is gone, and I will lose it, the tree dies. So it's all about win-win. This is what builds collaboration, because when you're talking about collaboration, is you're able to see how do we strike a win-win arrangement or partnership. So the best relationships are win-win. Unselfish thinkers, on the other hand, go into a relationship and make sure that the other person wins first. And that makes all the difference. In our leadership forum, we have been able to bring up quite a number of people. And since we are working together, we have gotten attention of some medias, which will be very difficult to attract the attention if you're alone. So you're able to have a bigger voice. Yeah, sorry, just a minute. Yeah, so win-win is it's the relationship paradigm that we should buy into as we continue to work around mentorship. So who is a mentor? Who is a mentor? Who is a mentor? Let's look at this. A mentor is one who builds trust, active and deep listener, and a person of understanding, a person who encourages and inspires, hope, and is also reliable. And a very important word is authentic. Is authentic. A person who is authentic. We are on page 101. Page 101. So the definition there, a mentor is, you will be able to fill that definition. If you can even do that later because it's quite long, but those are some of the qualities of a mentor. We'll look at them, quite a number of them. Number two is a mentor is one who sees ahead of what others can see. There's someone who will always see something in you that probably others are not able to see, or you'll be able to see in other people before others see. Inspires and coaches others to navigate a course of discovering, developing, and releasing their potential. So You're able to see before others see. A mentor is a secure leader who thrives in growing others. A secure leader who thrives in growing others. Leaders do not create followers, they create more leaders. And that is what mentors do. They want to bring everybody on the table. They want to bring as many people on the table as possible, so that they have a support system. They have a support system and they're able to achieve more together. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside you. That's Oprah Winfrey. A leader is a dealer in hope, as we have been saying. And therefore, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. Someone who wants to change the paradigm, probably even change your self-image, how you look at yourself, how you think about yourself. So a mentor will look at a very different, will have a very different view, even different from yourself, because he can see the positive side of you. So who is a mentor? Number 5, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself. So a mentor will see more than probably you are even seeing in yourself. We'll see more talent, we'll see ability, and we'll be able to probably start pointing to you some indicators and helps you to bring out the best in you. So the greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches, but to reveal to themselves their own riches. Their own riches. We have been talking about the power of your gift in different forums. And this is just about revealing the richness that people have in them, the treasure in them. Yeah, we have, God has opened our eyes. We are pursuing whatever we are pursuing regarding the gift in us. But can we reveal the treasure in these people, the people that we are interacting with? So the greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches, but can you go ahead and reveal the riches in them? And some of these qualities, unless someone points them out, we might not be able to pick them out ourselves. So if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And a mentor will always be inspirational, will always be a learner and inspire others to learn more, do more, and become more in life. A leader takes people where they want to go, but a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but they should be there. Yeah, they should be there. And I think this is our major task. We are always moving people, and sometimes people want to feel this is where we want to be, but we are telling them no, but there is another level that we have to move towards. So next, a mentor empowers. A person is someone who empowers people and helps the people to see possible future and believe that they can be able to obtain it. So look at this. Who is a mentor? A mentor, these are some of the qualities. A person who builds trust, a person who encourages, a person who is a good listener. It's a person who is reliable, and also is a person who is fun to hang out with, because mentorship, it's also exciting in its own way. We all have our different qualities that if we mix them out, it becomes a process that is more fun to walk through. So why mentor? Why is it important that we should be discussing about this topic of mentorship, and why should we mentor as leaders? I will start with a quote by our own Professor Wangari Maathai. And she said, it's all about teamwork. You cannot do it alone. Our dreams and our visions are massive in a way, and every vision requires people, requires partnerships, requires continuity. So it's about teamwork. So I'm very conscious, this is according to Wangari Maathai, I'm very conscious of the fact that you cannot do it alone. It's teamwork. When you do it alone, you run the risk that when you are no longer there, nobody else will do it. So it's teamwork, and that tells us it's necessary that we engage in mentorship. It's the way that we secure and preserve the future. We only preserve the future, we only secure the future by mentorship, by mentoring. Because if I have achieved much, then if I have not mentored, whatever achievement I've had may not be secured. And all of us have seen incidents in the political arena, at the family level, where leaders, they did a lot, they were able to have a lot of resources, but the moment they are not there, the resources are not secured. The resources are not preserved. It becomes a fight. It becomes a disaster. It's no longer a blessing to the family. So it's very. This is very fresh. It's something that is within our environment, and I think just jogging our mind and thinking about it will help us to start positioning ourselves as early as possible. So the greatest act of leadership is what happens in your absence. As a leader, if everything you have achieved dies with you, you are a failure. And success without a successor is failure. Those words of Miles Monroe, they sum it all. So you will secure next generation through mentorship. The sure way to secure the next generation is to mentor. How I secure my little girls and my little boys is to mentor, because in the next generation, what kind of environment, what kind of leadership will they encounter? And I think what we are doing now, we are also safeguarding our own children, because we are creating an environment out there where they can grow in a good leadership environment. So mentorship is our gift to the next generation. We bless the next generation by mentoring so that we can secure the next generation. Why mentor? Protect and sustain leadership achievement and impact. The sure way to safeguard and sustain our leadership achievements and impact, it is to mentor. It is to mentor. Is the path to true legacy. The sure way to build and preserve a worthwhile legacy is to mentor. Mentorship is the path to true legacy. And a secure legacy is anchored and sustained in people, not just in tangible assets. Because people will, if we mentor people, then whatever tangible is there, it will be preserved and even grow bigger, will be bigger. Yeah, maybe if you are a pastor, you leave a church of 1,000, and if you mentored, that mentor can build a church of maybe 2,000 and many other. So there is that compounding growth when it comes to issues of mentorship. So mentorship is the overall measure of success in leadership. Yeah, we test our success not just with ourselves, but with the people that we bring up. So if I have succeeded, then it will not just be concluded on my success, but it will be concluded on the successors and probably the successor of my successor. Then that will complete the cycle of success. You can be termed as a person who succeeded. Moses would have said he's successful, but if Joshua had failed, then probably the entire cycle would have been affected. So we ensure that our overall measure of success is anchored on leadership. We succeed in leadership when we mentor. And the most important part of leadership is not just leading, as I said, but how well we are able to pass the baton. Then we have looked at what is mentorship, why it's important. Then how do we mentor? How do we mentor? How do we go about this critical role of mentoring? Number one, mentorship must be intentional. It's intentional. It's done on purpose. In this period of COVID, I felt one of the intentional tasks was to take care of my children or our children. And we agreed with my wife and we said, this has to be intentional. It's not just accidental, but we have to do it on purpose. That we are here, and when we get through this COVID, can we be happy that we walked through with our children? We bonded with them. We did some mentorship, engagement, intentional. It might look like some games, we're just playing with them, we're just doing some exercise out there. But it's not just about the exercise. Yes, they're important, they're helping us, but we are throwing in some points. We are throwing some lessons. Because you are seeing the big picture, and you are there, you are in control. So we adopted a system where we could maybe just have some exercise 3 times in a week, but it was a mentorship arrangement. And this is why I said mentorship doesn't have to be a boring exercise. It has to be an exciting exercise. Put some music, enjoy the music, post the music, push across some lessons, and it's intentional. It must be intentional. So it's done on purpose. For parents, for organization, wherever you are, it's intentional. Mentorship requires matchmaking. Yeah, I think we need to match the mentor and the mentee based on the maybe field of interest, passion, knowledge, skills, and also experience. Mentorship also, how to mentor. We need to create a mentorship culture, a mentorship mindset, and also an environment. So a mentor and mentee should endeavor to cultivate a mentorship culture and environment. So it's a continuous exercise, but this starts from the number one, intentionality. So intentionality is one of the aspects that also brings on board these cultural issues of mentorship. We talk about it, we share about it until everyone owns and everyone feels it's all about a key role that we need to develop as we walk along. So mentorship requires authenticity. I've said that. Both success and failure should be embraced as channels of learning. Yeah, when we started having those simple exercises with my children, I realized they were struggling. But those some of the difficult moments, we maximized them, and they became like triggers. And with the time, even what seems to be a failure in a way has turned out to be a success because we build on it through encouragement, through lessons. Yes, we failed. There's one country, South Korea. They believe in forward failure. Fail forward. And failing forward, it means we need to learn from that failure. We need to analyze it. So mentorship requires authenticity so that you can be able to learn from both. And you as a mentor, you're able to bring out both sides of yourself, both sides of success, and also probably the challenges that you have encountered. So to inspire people, share your success story, but to impact people, take them behind the scenes, the stories, the failures, the struggles. So valuable lessons can be derived from both success and failure. To inspire people, we share our stories, but to impact them, we take them behind the scene, what we have gone through and what has shaped us to and brought us to the success arena. Mentorship, why mentor or how to mentor? Mentorship is futuristic. So habits take time to develop. And the mentor and mentee should value today, but also visualize tomorrow. They should take advantage of the moment, but be motivated by the desired future. Yeah, it's a process that comes with issues of habit transformation. And those take time. It takes time. And therefore, we need to look at the futuristic view, which will keep us going, which will help us embrace the process with its challenges and with its uncomfort ups and downs So it's futuristic. We are looking at the future and we're building towards that. How to mentor? Mentorship is a process, so we need to embrace the process thinking. It can be compared to a farm-based system. I like this example of a farmer or a farm-based success formula. What you sow, you will reap. So mentorship requires investment on systems, processes, and time. So there are particular processes that like the farmer goes through before he can sit down and wait for results. So it's a process and also requires a methodology. Develop a method and systems to help in mentor matching, communications alerts, tools to manage and track the progress of mentorship, including creating a mentorship agreement, learning plan, messaging, notes, tracking, and feedback surveys. And this is why I said it's intentional, because you can't do this. You can't think about a method if it's not intentional. But if it's intentional, then I'll think on, then how do I engage in a better mentorship? I'll go out there and look at some of the mentorship processes and methodology, and which one can I adopt so that I am more effective in my mentorship program. So how to mentor? You need to understand that mentorship is achieved outside of our comfort zone for both of us. For both of us, be comfortable being uncomfortable, patience, persistence, consistency, focus, and perseverance are key during mentorship process. So mentorship requires open-mindedness for both mentor and mentees because it's a learning process and both of us will be learning. And the process ignites two-way learning, adjustments, a lot of priorities, and new habits. And then finally, I said mentorship should be fun, embrace creativity, pause to celebrate every little success in the process of mentorship. Those will be your triggers. Those will be your momentum builder. Those little success, pause to celebrate them. And then it requires consistent personal development. We have to keep on growing so that we can have something to give out. You can only give what you have taken. And I am sure what we are taking now is something that we can be able to go out there and share it out. A mentor and mentee should be perpetual learners. Now, finally, on this lesson, the power of mentorship and succession, what are some of the mindset of a purpose-driven leader or a mentorship-driven leader? Just look at maybe 3 as we conclude. So as a mentorship-driven leader or a purpose-driven leader, you focus on nurturing successors. So do you have a successor? Are you mentoring a successor? If tomorrow I don't report to work, is there someone who will be able to sit down and proceed comfortably, confidently? Is there someone who can do what I have been doing? I know in some setups, it's a challenge, but I think as champions, as change agents, as mentorship-driven leader, we'll always try to get away to create that environment. It might not be many people, but maybe one can say, this one, I've poured the knowledge, I've spent time with that person. So it's intentional, and we focus on nurturing a successor. So do you have a successor? Is there someone that you are mentoring? Just think about it. It might not be maybe it might be at your place of work. It might be another setup that you are leading. It might be at the family level. So think about that. I remember there's a time I used to share with my wife. I think today I'm just sharing some personal stories just to help us understand this. And I used to tell her, can you make some decisions? Can you make decisions as if I'm not there? Like you can't access me easily. Maybe I've gone out. Maybe I'm at work and you can't reach me. So can you make some of those decisions comfortably and feel that you are okay with them? And even for me, I'm okay with whatever decision you are making, even if we'll engage on it later on. But I didn't know, just to get an opportunity to go outside the country for 2 years. And I told her now, wow, what we used to talk about, now it's here. For 2 years, you have to make decisions. You have to you have to be in charge. You can't access me that easily. And I thank God because we had started the discussion before. So when the opportunity came, I was more comfortable and she was also more comfortable. So as a mentor can just what you're doing maybe to your wife, what you're doing to your child, an employee or any other person, a person in the community. So we understand that our greatest contribution to the future is our successor. And we also need to understand, as we have discussed, that success without successor, then we'll have failed in our leadership. Mentorship-driven leader, our mindset is that we safeguard and solidify our leadership through mentorship. And then finally, we lead and influence through inspiration. We inspire others. We don't discourage them to get into leadership, but we inspire them to get into leadership. And then we empower them, and then we mentor them so that they can continue with the cycle of inspiring others, empowering others, and also mentoring others to come on board. Wow. That brings us to the end of lesson 14. I don't know how is the experience. I know you have shared on the chat, but if there's someone who may want to make a comment as I take a glass of water and then we proceed from there, you're free to do that. And then we'll look at the chat and just see what you are discussing. I can see Pastor Kahindi, you are on there. So maybe as I take a glass of water, I can just share what is on the chat and you say hi to us.
Hello, good. I had to join in late because of some other commitments.
Evening too.
Thank you, Sarah Tabi. Now, from where I joined, I'm seeing some 3 comments, and thereafter we'll appoint one of you because I see you can get more of that came in before I logged in. The first one here is great inspiration about mentorship. Yes, that's a compliment. Thank you. And number 2, sometimes we do things without knowing we are mentoring. Very true. We find ourselves doing things. And in those cases, we cannot measure it. But when we are purposeful, when we sit and say, this is the way we are going, you will achieve results faster. And you can even measure that I had intended to achieve this, now I've achieved it. Third one, personal experiences are very inspiring. Our chairman was sharing his personal experiences in life, and they were really insightful. Then senior citizen says, planning succession is critical for leadership. Yes, and when you're planning succession, mentorship is the key. Yes, so who will volunteer to read the ones that came before me? Kevin? Kevin, can I volunteer you for us?
Yes, you can.
Yes,
I
please.
can.
Just go through the comments that were there before the ones I've read, if there was anything.
I think they are the ones that you have read, they are the ones that were there.
So you mean today people are not writing your learnings?
The previous ones were the challenges of leadership.
Okay. Okay. So on mentorship, there's nothing new?
Nothing new.
Now, in the few minutes that you have before Chairman finishes his glass, is it possible you put some things there that you have learned on mentorship? Or can somebody share with me what he got on mentorship, because I came mid-class? Sarah, may you volunteer to give me information? Sarah Tabi.
Yes.
Yes, what have you learned when I was away?
Yeah, and I think it's me that I've written.
Yes.
about the mentorship, which has really, I've really gotten inspired. And that's why I wrote that the mentorship is just about the mentorship. I've been inspired by what our chairman has taught us, and even the personal experience that he has shared with us. At times we do things without knowing that what we are doing, we are actually making plans for tomorrow. So I'm being so much inspired by the mentorship lesson. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I will hear one from Cornelio. Cornelius, is Cornelius still on? He's left. Cornelius was connecting and left. So I will pick on Chege Kamau. Give me your learnings before I came in. What did you learn?
Just like I have said, is that if succession management planning is critical.
Okay.
Because we make sure as we exit the scene, we are also mentors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I just read as written here. Colin says we are sitting on a tree because somebody planted a tree many years ago. Sitting under a tree, sorry. Now that one, the second part. What do you mean sitting under a tree? So Collins, substance.
So I had written that we are sitting on a tree. It's really hard to sit on a tree. Sit the shape of a tree.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So break it. What do you mean now? So what should we do?
As what put as we for say my children, right? But that will start having go all the way. Like Rita today, when passing on the baton to Joshua, and then go back. Us to be able to be mentors to others and also to have thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. At least I feel like now I've been brought up to speed. Kevin closes the chapter by saying being intentional on mentorship keeps you on your toes to develop yourself first before passing on the baton. Thank you very much. Now, Chairman, over to you.
Wow, great. Thank you for the insights. And I think, knowledge sometimes reveal what you have been doing, maybe without a clear framework and without a clear understanding. As some of you have noted, you've been mentoring, but maybe you just took it as a lifestyle. But now with this kind of information, then you become more intentional, and you become more strategic, you become more methodological, and you're able to be more effective. Now, we agreed we can try and manage 2 sessions, so I think I'll take 20 more minutes just to go through lesson 15, so that next week we'll give more time on the projects, as we also undertake the last lesson. So let's just jump into lesson 15 as we proceed. So lesson 15, and maybe before lesson 15, please remember to check page 101. 106, leadership challenge for lesson 14. The leadership challenge, I think it's very important you go through that leadership challenge. Have we identified a mentor? If not, take time now to list and evaluate a possible mentor, because it's a two-way. I mentor, I'm mentored, so I might be mentoring, but at the same time, I'm being mentored. Yeah. So B, have you identified your mentee? Now this is mentee or mentees. The first one is a mentor. The second one is a mentee. If not, take time to list possible mentees. Who are the possible candidates? Number 3, identify mentorship qualities you need to strengthen to collaborate effectively with your mentor and mentee. So just go through the leadership challenge and then just evaluate yourself and see where to work more and strengthen. Lesson 15, it's also, as I've been saying, all the core leadership competences are really core. And they're very instrumental when it comes to leadership. Now, we need to keep on growing, and we felt personal growth, development, leadership is the pillar, That's why we are here. That's why I've been here for the last more than maybe now 8 weeks or 10 weeks or so. Look at this. Let me start from here. Look at this iceberg. There is an iceberg illusion on success. What is seen on the top is success, is the tip of the iceberg. If we look at Pastor Kahindi, there is what we see. And maybe all of us we might admire seeing him where he is now. But if we go down on the 80 or the 80 to 90%, the lion's share that is under the ocean, that is really the real person. That's the real person. That is what has defined the person up there. And one of the key components that is down there is personal growth and development. This is the distinction. This is the distinguishing mark. The people who are successful and those who are not successful, one of the key distinction mark is on growth. Yeah, so the swiftest way to triple your success is to double your investment in personal development. That is Robin Sharma. If you want to swift or to shift or to triple or to have a turning point in your success, it's all hinged on how am I growing. And most of us from here, I'm sure there'll be a lot of changes, there'll be a lot of shifts, maybe the way you lead, the way people look at you, and it might come with other additional benefits, even in terms of promotion, who knows? So the personal growth is what is down there, the hard work, the persistence, the late nights that we are spending here, the sacrifice, the disciplines. Yeah, so success iceberg tells us more when we go down. When we go down, we see the reality. So personal development is critical. And just looking at what is personal development, it's a continuous lifelong process where we nurture, shape, and improve the skills our knowledge, and also ensure that we maximize on effectiveness, efficiency, and our growth and the growth of the people that we are working with. So the more we grow, the more we create the gap to encourage others to do the same. So the goal is to improve performance and optimize potential. We might be talented, we might be endowed with potential, but unless we are able to cultivate that through growth, that potential might remain dormant. And personal growth also, I'll get to that. It's about learning about myself. before I can start nurturing myself. So I need to understand myself. So how to improve performance and optimize potential, and also the resources that are at your disposal. Now, we've been talking about this. If the axe is dull, you need more effort. You need more effort. Abraham Lincoln said, if I have 6 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the tree. Steve Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about habit number 7, sharpen the saw first before you start cutting the tree. So the moment we sharpen ourselves, the moment we grow, then it positions us in a realm of 20% effort, 80% output, 80% output, 80% results, because we are sharper. I don't need to spend 6 hours just cutting down a tree. I'll spend less because I've already sharpened, I've already prepared. So when from here, even leading will be interesting and maybe more easier, because there are things now you can see them and you can understand them differently. Like the way someone has said, you mentored, but you didn't know the real game that you are in. But now, since there is knowledge, then you can be telling like, wow, I know this is what is happening. I understand the game. I understand where the next button I need to press. And you are in charge. If you are knowledgeable, you are in charge. You are in charge because you see more. So as we continue to deepen our roots on personal growth, then we are also positioning ourselves in terms of how far we can rise. A building that has to go up has to go down. The deeper it goes, the higher it goes. So the more we get deeper in personal growth, it also opens avenue for us to rise up higher and be more effective, be more efficient, and be able to optimize the potential that in us and bring out much better. I've been talking about this quote by John F. Kennedy: leadership and learning are indispensable. You cannot separate them. The moment a leader stops learning, we stop leading. The moment we stop learning, we stop leading, because we need to bring freshness, as we said at the beginning, and freshness comes with continuous growth, continual improvement. If we are growing, we are always going to be outside our comfort zone. Yeah, comfort zone. Now, every time we have such kind of sessions, there are some little disorganization. It's no longer the normal. We have adopted a new normal in terms of how we engage, and this is how we are getting the value, because maybe previously this time would have invested for something else, but it might look like a little bit of a rearrangement. It's moving us maybe from a comfort, what we felt was a comfort, but the value is really what counts. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. If we keep on adding value to ourselves, then we are able to add value to others. We're able to add value to others, and we also become more valuable. And people pay for value. People pay for value. People are attracted by value. And as we become more valuable, we are able to upgrade and add to our value and the value of the people that we are leading. Oprah Winfrey: we can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. Yeah, so if I project a bigger vision, it tells me there has to be some shifts, because I cannot remain the same person and expect to achieve the greater vision ahead of me. So there's some reorganizations here and there. The only growth strategy is that we need to work hard, work smart, be intentional. Kevin talked about this. Even in personal development, is also being intentional and being consistent. And leaders are perpetual learners, as we've been saying. Growth is our prophet. Growth is our prophet. Tomorrow, we shall be where we are growing today. So our personal growth is prophesying where we shall be tomorrow, where we shall be next year, where we shall be 5 years to come. So there's no way it's about that person that I am and what I'm doing now that will determine where I'll be. So we grow towards opportunities, we prepare for opportunities. Preparation is key. My encouragement every time I tell people that when opportunity comes, there's no time to prepare, so you prepare in advance so that when it comes, you are able to embrace it and you're able to run with it. And I've seen when people become more valuable, then we even don't lobby for some of these opportunities because people are looking for value. So if I'm valuable and I've prepared and invested in myself, then you become a commodity that people will want to identify with and work with. Now, personal development. What are some of the goals? Personal development may include maybe a number of goals. One is that you defining and planning. So personal development plans, you need to have a personal development plans, or it involves having a personal development plan. Also improving self-awareness. I cannot grow what I don't understand or what I don't know. So I need to identify my strength and then I'm able to grow them. You remember SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis, your strength, your weaknesses, the opportunities out there, and the threats out there. So we maximize on our strength. We are already weak in our weakness, and we may not become very valuable in our weakness. But in our strength, we're refining it a bit, then we are able to get to the A class, if I can use that word. Sometimes it's possible to convert maybe a few of the weaknesses, but in most cases, we might want to focus on the strength and refine them and magnify, focus on them and grow them. Improving on self-knowledge. We need to understand ourselves more. And some of those tools that we have shared, SWOT analysis, maybe sometimes you can also engage on some psychometric tests here and there, see which one gives you the best. Or even personality colors. How many of us knows or their personality colors? There is a red, there is green, there is blue, there is yellow. Are you a red? Are you a green? Are you a yellow, or are you a blue? Yeah, so they might not be exact, but they'll give you some hint. They'll give you some hint. You look at the people that you are working with. There are people I look at and I say, this is a red. This is a red. How do I handle a red? Then I need to have some strategies on how to handle a red. There are couples that are together and they're both red. Then how do two reds live together? So we need to understand. If we are two reds, someone was saying if two reds marry, then they need to build a house in a police station. But that does not really have to be the case. We can still manage them through personal awareness. Yeah, so personality colors, our personalities, improve skills and personality, building or renewing your identity or self-esteem, developing strength and talents, and improving a career. Those are some of the goals of personal development, identifying or improving potential, building employability, human capital, enhancing lifestyle or the quality of life and time management, and also improving health, improving wealth or social status or value. Its growth also comes with the issues of improving the wealth because of the value and social status, improving social relationships or emotional intelligence. This is also key. It's among the qualities that form the 80%, and also spiritual identity development and recognition. So as you work on personal development, these are some of the aspects of some of the goals that we are focusing on. How do we keep on improving this, enhancing some of these qualities? And also they start from having a personal development plan. Now, personal development planning process. It's a process, as I said, and it begins with self-analysis, personal analysis, personal reflection, and honest appraisal of one's strengths and weaknesses. I appraise, I analyze my strength, and I also analyze my strength. My encouragement will be, after this course, just give yourself a break, probably take some time off and just be somewhere and reflect critically on these issues and see how do we start a new trajectory after the information that we have gained from this class. Because we can't go through this and remain the same. We have to make a shift. So personal analysis, designed to analyze a leader's strengths and weaknesses, as I've said, draw heavily upon career, the outcomes of your courses you have attended, and this should be supplemented by the perceived opportunities that will have been driven or derived from experience and any threats, so that you can be able to the threats to continued success. So personal analysis, understand myself, apply these tools, know my personality, understand the giftings, understand the experiences that I've gone through, and then I make sense out of this. I make the dots, I connect the dots. Some of these experiences, some of what, when we analyze ourselves, we're able to come up with a life theme. We're able to summarize and see, wow, I think I've been fashioned for this. My experiences are they're indicating what I should be engaging on. And then setting goals, clearly definable and measurable goals. I think we mentioned that, and personal objectives, setting out your personal objectives. So the planning process is understand yourself, then from there, come up with some goals, some objectives. I'll share the model, a model which is more detailed, just to help us now build up on what I have mentioned. So the life cycle, personal development planning process should involve some of these steps. It's like the life cycle of personal development. You start with aims and objectives. We are taking over from where we left. You want to achieve maybe the short term, medium term, or long term. Then assessing current realities. What are some of the current realities? And then identifying needs, gaps for skills, knowledge, or competences. What are some of the gaps? I've assessed current realities. I've looked at the context, the environment around me. Then what I have, what are some of the gaps? And then selecting appropriate development activities to meet those perceived needs and the gaps. Then strategies or planning for reaching out or attaining what I've already identified up there as my objectives. Then measurement and assessment of progress levels, or the levels that define milestone along the development path. And then finally, you need to have a feedback system. So you look at this from the picture here. This is a life cycle. It's on which page? Just point out that. Life cycle. It's on page 112. Page 112. So the life cycle start with establish the purpose, direction of the aims, identify development needs or gaps, look at development opportunities, formulate action plan, undertake development, and then record outcomes, review and evaluate. I wrote a free booklet on this. After this, I will share the link so that you look at it. It has nine key aspects that you need to look at when you're growing yourself. It's more detailed and it's a free booklet. So I'll share the link so that you just look at it, and it will give you an in-depth understanding on these issues of personal development. So the personal development model, almost the same with the life cycle, but a few changes here and there. You start with a belief, especially when you're looking at personal analysis, the mindset, the identity, and your motivation. What are your motivation? Maybe for in the area that you want to grow. What is your identity, so that you can grow that identity, or even growing more in your identity. And then the mindset, understanding your mindset and seeing how maybe you need to shift if need be, or grow if need be. Then plan. So the first one is belief. Then we go to the plan, goal setting. I've mentioned that. Organization or work strategies. But critically there, it's issue of goal setting and the objectives. And then action, execution. And the most important when it comes to action is habits. Habits. This is really what determines the change that you're going to experience. And then productivity. Results, we are looking at the outcome, what are the rewards and what are the feedback systems. And then review, evaluation, assessment, and also redesign the strategies based on how well or how we need to enhance if there is need to enhance. So the belief, I believe that reading is useful. We look at that. I value reading, those are values. Plan, I set goals to finish reading a book. So just this takes you into the details of what you can have when you look at the model and each and every particular component. So you look at this when I share the notes. Let me not go deep into that. So personal development, some of the attributes. One of the attributes is focus. Follow one course until successful. That is Robert Kiyosaki. Identify your area of interest, passion, potential, and then focus. And then focus. For me, I've been more effective in writing because of focus. Previously, I think I've shared, I used to do quite a lot. I was running a lot of ventures here and there. I had a kinyozi, I had a cyber, I had a greenhouse. There was a lot. But when I reflected, I realized I'm getting tired, but productivity is low. Productivity is low. And some of these ventures, when I analyzed them critically, I didn't see much value in them. So, and I think that is what has helped me and helped us to be able to build this because of focus. We say now put everything else aside because I've been able to identify this strength. Let's follow this strength. Let's follow this one. There is no way I would have written about 12 books if I was still in a mix of all those things. I think my time will have been shared across and I will not be very effective. So follow one course until successful. And that is the only way we shift to the success ladder at the top because of following one, because of becoming specialist on some areas. So it's about I'm concentrating my effort in this, I'm concentrating my time in this, and the world can never ignore a specialist because a specialist out there is a specialist and is someone who is known for something. When you're talking about a subject, that is the person that you want to engage with. And even look at the academic arena. It's all about specialization. A professor doesn't do much. You find a professor just focusing on a very small segment of research. But the impact is huge. Yeah, so become a specialist and then you're able to distinguish yourself. So focus when it comes to personal development, narrow down to one course, center of interest, focal point, clear visual reference point, and avoid becoming a jack of all trade, be a specialist. I think this is critical. This is critical because there is a lot of competing interest for our time. And what sometimes distracts us is not the bad. I've been saying this, it's not the bad things, it's the good things. Yeah, the kinyozi that I was running was not a bad thing. It was a good thing. And many other ventures that were out there, they were all good. And even separating myself from them, it was difficult. It was difficult. But I think I also learned to make decisions along the way so that we can be able to move to the next level. So focus, and then positivity. Positivity is key. It keeps one moving and it keeps one on track. Establishes an environment of soberness and open-mindedness. We cannot grow until we have developed a positive mindset and we appreciate where we are and where we are going, where we are and where we're going. And we create an environment of positivity around us. Yeah, so that is very important. It gives us the inner strength to be able to keep on pushing on, to keep on motivating ourselves. Even when there is no external motivation, you will get an inner motivation. Then consistency, I think it's a key word. Success is the sum total, small efforts, repeated day in, day out. Robert Collier. Sum total of small efforts. Personal growth is all about small efforts. This is why we have been insisting on a book review, the small efforts, so that after this, you can still keep on those habits that we have developed on reading, the reading culture. We trust that those habits can now keep on compounding and keep on growing. And we'll see the results as we continue. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but what we do consistently. What we do consistently. I cannot water a plant with a lot of water for one day. I need to water little water every day, and then it is able to grow. Some of the other attributes, self-discipline, I think that is it's a concept that we all understand. Self-control, self-mastery, how well do I know and restrain myself if need be. Firmness of purpose, purposefulness, persistence, determination, tenacity. Self-discipline plays a major role in the process of personal growth. Because why this is important? Personal growth is very personal. It's very personal. So no one might be there to help me grow or to monitor my personal growth. You know, there are those growth in the formal setup where we are monitored, but our personal development is personal. And therefore, the only thing that keeps us on track is the attributes that we develop in us, including the self-discipline that I've talked about. Patience. It's a journey. It's something that we appreciate day by day. And patience is about constantly doing everything you can, but being patient about results. You do the best, but you are patient about results. When I started working around this, sometimes I could read or listen to speakers, but later on, I tried to remember what I was reading or what I was listening, and I could not remember much. And I started feeling like, is there something that I'm not doing? Because I've read a book and I can remember very little from that book. I've listened to a speaker, but I can remember very little. But I learned that even the brain is growing. You never used to do that. So the absorption level maybe needs also to keep on growing. You need to keep on growing. But I also learned some of this information is there. It just is in the subconscious mind, is triggered. So if I engaged on a discussion, someone would ask something and then it will pop up. And I started feeling, wow. So it was still there. It needed a trigger. And that was an encouragement. So we keep on growing. We keep on growing. I remember there's a speaker, the late Miles Monroe, was speaking in a forum and he was saying, based on how your engagements, based on how much you have exercised your brain, there's how much it can take. There are people who really exercise a big chunk of their brain, and therefore their capacity keep on stretching. Yeah, and there are people who are so much in routine, but you don't need to think much. You just need to wake up and you know the next step, you know the other step, you know the other step, and you know when to finish. So even if you have closed your eyes, you can still go through the whole day. and still be okay. But there are people who really invest in thinking. It's like, it's a thinking game. I am in the boardroom, I am in the thinking game. And this is what brings the shift. And this is what I'm talking about, the patience as we embark on the journey, so that at the end of it all, we'll be able to be patient about the results, but we'll go through the process. The ability to persistence, the ability to maintain a will as constant as time in pursuit of that which captures your eyes. The willpower, the willpower. The willpower needs to keep on alive. Yeah. Sometimes we win the battles not because of the weapons, but because of the willpower in us. Yeah, I remember Winston Churchill, the speeches that he used to give before the army got into the fight. Like, you feel you are already a winner even before getting into the battleground. Yeah, we'll fight in the sea, we'll fight on the land, we'll fight in the sky. Just imagine that speech. Even if you are the soldier, you will feel like you have already won. And when you are out there, you will be fighting with that speech replaying in your mind. So the willpower will give us the push that we need to keep on moving. I will conclude by sharing this story. I don't know if I've shared this. The principles of personal development based on a Chinese bamboo tree. A Chinese bamboo tree has a very hard seed. It's very hard, such that when you plant it, you have to keep on watering that seed, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not 3, but 5 good years, watering the seed before it grows, before it germinates. So for the 5 years, you don't see what happens. But through positivity, through patience, through persistence, through consistency, through self-discipline, through focus, and through faith, you believe that something is happening under the ground. And after 5 years, the seed germinates, and it's recorded that in about 6 weeks, the Chinese bamboo tree is able to grow 80 feet in 6 weeks. But 5 years, it was in the soil. So sometimes when you're engaging in personal growth, you may not feel or you may not see the results. You may not feel or you may not see the results. But we keep on believing in some of these attributes that I've talked about. And when you come out, you might be surprised. People will see some of us in some places, but they won't know really what went on under the ocean, what metamorphoses what we experienced, what transformed us. So a Chinese bamboo tree is a very good example on how we need to be patient in terms of personal growth. Sometimes in those hidden moments, it's when the best comes out in us. And there are 3. This is the last one. There are traps of personal growth. You need to watch out for some of these traps of personal growth. One of them is environment. Position yourself in an environment that positions you to grow. Positions you to grow. When we started engaging in this kind of trainings, personally, we had to make a few adjustments, especially on the positioning. We felt we need to come maybe from one group to another group. It was very uncomfortable. We need to move from one organization to another because I need to keep on growing. So there are physical movements, there are relational movements. There's a lot. And sometimes we even outgrow the people. And you feel like, yes, I can still be with them, but if I want to grow, maybe I need to get another team, which will keep on provoking me to grow. So comfort and security are traps of growth and development. The mindset, the difference between successful and unsuccessful people, as I've said, is how they think about who they are and what they have. So the mindset, our mind can be a trap But we have talked about positivity. We have talked about how we need to condition our mind for us to be able to grow. So we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. If we are shifting to a personal growth environment and maybe before that it wasn't that active, then we need to do a shift even in our thinking. And then the last one is self-defeating habits. Every new level in life demands new habits. New habit. Upward plans demands upward habits. We are what we repeatedly think and do. So if we are to grow, it has to start with the habits. It has to start with shifting from maybe the comfort zone, from the fear zone, getting into a learning zone, and then getting into a growth zone. And all of these, they come with a few aspects here and there that we have to either adopt or we have to drop. And that is the only way that we are able to move up and grow and become better leaders and make the change that we are all desiring to bring out there. It's my hope that these engagements will really bring out the best in us. Sometimes it might look like we are sharing too much, but I'm sure as we reflect again and again and again, we can be able to see where do I need to start applying and what do I need to start applying so that I can be able to grow. So that brings us to the end of lesson 15. Leadership challenge is on page 118. And I really encourage you to follow through this leadership challenge. The example of personal development plan. Part 1, you will do a personal analysis and you'll be guided. And then exercise, there's an exercise, populate your own personal analysis based on SWOT analysis. And then setting goals, populate the below matrix. There's a matrix there. You need to populate what do I want to learn? What do I have to do? So you will follow through. And then part 3, personal objectives. You will set the objectives, short-term, medium-term, and long-term objectives. And then you are able to identify how do you run through, how do you walk through. So these exercises is only that we are constrained, but we are always trusting that when you are reviewing the manual, you are able to look at these exercises because they are the practical aspect of this program. And if you follow through, then at the end of it all, this information that we have shared is able to take shape and we're able to apply it and we're able to grow and become better leaders. Otherwise, thank you so much for your kind attention. We are remaining with one lesson, lesson 16, and we shall handle this lesson next week, and we shall give you more time for your project presentation. So we hope that you'll have made some good progress so that maybe within another one more week, we'll be able to have final presentations. Otherwise, let me return to Reverend Kahindi. If there are any comments from the chat, you can read through and you can conclude the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for unpacking that. May we just some clap to Chairman for unpacking this one. Let's see your different claps. For those of you who are digital, analog, nobody's digital. So I'm clapping alone. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Okay, others are struggling to get the claps. There is somewhere on that screen. Let me go to the chat and see the reflections that people are having. Oh, where do we begin? Yes, somebody says for sure our leadership different because now we have more knowledge. We prepare before opportunity. That's very encouraging. The reason why we are taking this one is so that we can improve on the way we are doing things. At least if somebody is seeing that the leadership shall improve, that's encouraging. Thank you. Somebody says success where opportunity meets preparedness. So encourages that we be prepared because opportunities come knocking. The tragedy is when an opportunity comes and you are not prepared, then there is a problem. Be make things much easier. Self-development will make things much easier. And then following, okay, this from Sarah Tabi says, following one has been a challenge of us. She was responding to the issue of being focused, that you focus on one. And solve this problem in focusing. You want to be jacks of all trades. Well, if a chairman says the world has never ignored a specialist. So if you want the world to stop and watch you, you have to do the hard way of focusing. Difficult as it is, calling for a leader. Then being in the right environment is very important. Some of us are where we are because of the environment we have, either being or bad. It has influenced our being. Somebody said, sometimes you may have to physically shift from the environment or the house you are living in to go to a place where you will grow better, where you can focus on the things that you want to do. The environment speaks of your neighborhood, it also speaks of your friends, the people you interact with. You need that will foster what it is that you're focusing on. Thank you. I think there is no other comments over there. But I want to allow somebody called admin. There is somebody who's logged in with the title of admin. I want a comment from admin just to hear what admin has learned today. So please, admin, just unmute and speak to us. Admin. Oh, the admin cannot hear us. Okay, is there anyone comment before we try to close? Our time is well spent. Silence means no other comment. So thank you very much, leaders, for having taken time to be on board this evening. It has been well packed, and unpacking the things that have been unpacked today is well, personally, I feel like a lot. Want to encourage you, just take time through this more. Every time you read it on your own and you reflect, you'll find you are learning more. On the issue of the project, as you can see, we are headed towards the tail end of the course. So go through the challenges of working on a project proposal so that next week you have something good to present. Chairman, if you have a final remark before we pray.
Yeah, it's okay, Reverend. You can proceed and pray.
Okay, let us pray. Heavenly Father, Jesus, we thank you this evening for having allowed us, Jehovah. We have learned things that we believe are good for our lives. We believe they're helpful for our generation. And we believe, Jehovah, will help many more generations after us. Pray that God, you give us the wisdom to follow through. Give us the energy to do the right thing and the will, Jehovah, to remain on the course. Because that way, Jehovah, you will be glorified. And many people, Lord, will benefit from what we are undertaking now. Thank you for the wisdom upon our chairman. Thank you, Jehovah, for the dedication upon each and every leader. I pray, Lord, that you protect them, keep them well, and even, Lord, as they work on their project proposals and work on these studies, you give them the grace to go through successful. We thank you and we honor you. In Jesus' name I do pray and believe. Amen.